Till the lights go down, down, down. Till the lights go down, down, down. I've been feeling alright. I've been taking.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Crypto Vibes here, also known as Crypto. Bringing you guys another video. And today, guys, I have my week 3 battle in the CPC D League, going up against Ice Demon Gray and his Barcelona Bagons. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing this game up against Ice. Definitely good pal of mine, and this is actually the first time we're getting to play in like a one-on-one draft league battle, so really looking forward to this one. I've been in leagues with him in the past and whatnot. He's a really cool guy and a good battler, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, if you guys did not watch my week 2 battle versus Ace, we're unfortunately able to pull out a win there, even though we almost did choke that game away. So luckily we did get a W on the board, so we are sitting at 1-1 right now with a neutral differential at 0 right now. So this would definitely be a big game to potentially put us over the hump for now. And I believe Ice is actually 1-1 at this moment too. So we're definitely both looking for a win, and we'll just have to put the best team we can together and try to do the best we can here, as Ice has the potential to bring the Megalopony, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Necrozma, Zoroark, Registeel, Whimsicott, Tyrantrum, Quagsire, Miltank, and Vikavolt. With his 2 Z Captain users being the Necrozma and the Vikavolt. He's definitely got quite a bit of fat on this team, that's for sure, and a lot of the offense looks like it. A lot of the offense is laying on things like Megalopony, Tyrantrum, maybe even certain variants of Whimsicott, and then Zoroark, even like Vikavolt sets and stuff. But he's definitely got a lot of fat. That is something I kind of wanted to build around whenever I was looking at the team, because if I can really break that down first, then it looks like I can get to his offense late game potentially and win with something like an Infernape or even an Bisharp that you can see up here I have on my team. So yeah, that's kind of something I was focusing on when building this. Also, I really want to keep in mind what his 2 defoggers were, and he only has 2, being the Zapdos and the Whimsicott. So I really feel like I built a team that can pressure those a lot to keep hazards on the field, and not really let those mons in a position where they can actually defog. So that's something I wanted to keep in mind too. His different hazard setters he has on the team. He has a Nidoqueen that can get up rocks and Toxic Spikes. Wouldn't really expect Toxic Spikes in a game like this, considering I think the Roserade has a pretty decent matchup outside of a couple things like Registeel and Sap Sipper, Spit Up Miltank or something, Necrozma, stuff like that. But I really wouldn't expect T-Spikes. The Stealth Rocks is definitely an option though. He's got the Stealth Rock Necrozma, he's got the Registeel, he's got, I think Tyrantrum gets Stealth Rocks, but that's just not gonna come. And then Stealth Rock Miltank, which is definitely another bring I could see coming to this game. But yeah, definitely biggest threat I would say to my team has got to be offensively the Megalopony for sure. If he just chips my team down enough, it's very, very tough for me to deal with. I don't really have great speed control for it. My only mon that outspeeds is Electrode, which has a pretty horrible matchup right here, to be honest. And then my Scarfers offensively just aren't exactly the best against this team. So Megalopony is a very tough mon for me to check this week, but is definitely possible. What was next? Also on the defensive side, I would say a couple big threats are things like the Registeel, and even the Zapdos is a little annoying. I can deal with the Zapdos a little better, but the Registeel is pretty tough because it can check a couple of my lines pretty nicely. But yeah, after really talking about that, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and hop into my team. This one was definitely a tough build to go over, but we will do it right now. First, starting off, we have probably my main win con this game. This mon's really solid here, and that is my Infernape. We're rocking the Fire MZ right here with Fire Blast, Nasty Plot, Grass Knot, and Vacuum Wave. We are rocking enough speed for a max speed Zoroark. Really didn't have any crazy creeps or anything here, but decided to go with something basic right here. And yeah, in case we didn't have any time to set up, Vacuum Wave I believe does around 80% to Zoroark anyways. Non-bulk Zoroark, so that gives me something very nice there in case I can't set up a Nasty Plot. It takes a couple rounds Stealth Rock or even a couple rounds of Spikes, which I do have on this team, which is really good. Fire Blast for general stab is just really good against him, especially with the Fire MZ. You can see his resistances to that are things like the Tyrantrum, the Quagsire, and Thick Fat Miltank. Miltank actually might be his best check to his Infernape set after he gets a Nasty Plot up, which is pretty insane, if this even decides to come. But something like Z Fire Blast can help me break through Registeel very easily. Z Fire Blast after +2 can help me break through things like Zapdos, Nidoqueen, even Necrozma very, very nicely. Grass Knot is there for the Quagsire, which I kind of do expect about a 60-40% chance I think it would come. And then Vacuum Wave is just really good to pick off things like Mega Lopunny, a Scarfed Tyrantrum, and even things like the Zoroark, like I was mentioning, if I think he's Scarfed or I'm not in a position to, or yeah, if I just mainly think he's Scarfed, that would be the reason for the Vacuum Wave, so that's really good there. It also just gives me a little bit of a better way to check the Mega Lopunny, which is very solid for my team. So overall, I was very excited with this set whenever I saw what it could do this game, and I just got to put it in the right position to do its thing, and I think it will be a good mod this week for sure. Get into my next mod right here. He has a Mega Lopunny on his team, so I just wanted to wait to check that, and I'm going to be bringing my Clefable right here. Max Defense Clefable with leftovers right here with Moonblast, Wish, Softball, and Knockoff. Really just a massive support mod in this game. It can definitely do a lot of things besides checking Mega Lopunny. Passing Wishes is definitely not something I expected to be able to do a couple times this game, to where the point, you know, Mega Lopunny could come in and just click Fake Out a couple amount of times, which would not do much to my Clefable. I might lose a ton of momentum just from staying in and clicking Softball over and over, whereas mods I could definitely take advantage of my Clefable coming in, like the Nidoqueen and even Registeel. So if I get up a Wish, I can maybe pass something a Wish, and then be a pretty safe switch into something like a Nidoqueen, which is usually pretty scary to switch into for sure. So that's an idea behind there. It also, just like I said, doesn't let me lose a ton of momentum if he keeps switching out on my Clefable, which is very good. Knockoff is also there to potentially catch the Registeel in case I don't feel like Wish is an opportune play. Also helps me knock out like the leftovers or a potential berry on the Registeel, as well as knocking off items on the Quagsire, which I feel like could be a scenario, as well as even catching the Nidoqueen if I feel like Knockoff is the play at the right time. And things even such as Zapdos, really, to be honest. If I can just knock off all their items, it makes it a lot easier throughout the game to win with my offense late game. So Clefable's really here is just a nice support mod in this game for sure. I think the Knockoff is a good lure for sure, and the double recovery I think can definitely come in clutch for sure. This thing's also a pretty good check to Zoroark, physical or special. Just gotta watch out for Sludge Bomb, like a light from Sludge Bomb. So that's definitely scary. And at all times, I should try to keep this thing out of 2 KO range from Mega Lopunny, because if Mega Lopunny gets rid of this, or anyone on the team gets rid of this early game, then Mega Lopunny is going to be a big problem to deal with later in the game. So yeah, Clefable's just really good here, and that's what we're bringing. Next mod we have right here is Envy, my Roserade. We're rocking the Expert Belt Roserade with Spikes, Hidden Power Ice, Sludge Bomb, and Leech Seed. With a pretty weird EV spread, which I'll talk about here in a second. This Roserade set is completely pretty much walled by the Registeel outside of Leech Seed, which is pretty unfortunate for sure. It doesn't have an amazing offensive matchup, but it has a good offensive matchup for what I need it to have an offensive matchup against, if that makes any sense. Leech Seed does help me catch the Registeel, at least help me get a little bit of chip off on that, and also getting a little bit of health back on Roserade. Was debating on Expert Belt or Black Sludge for a while, but ultimately decided to go with the Expert Belt set here. This set allows me, with my Expert Belt, the Hidden Power Ice, to Oko a Tyrantrum, the HP Tyrantrum set I expect after a round of spikes, 1 spike. If he's Scarfed, then I have an EV spread that can allow me to take a Scarfed Head Smash, which is pretty wild, from a Jolly Scarf Tyrantrum, which is really solid for me. Just had to invest, you know, almost all in defense just to do that, but I feel like it's something to be able to do. And if he's not Scarfed, we do outspeed a non-Scarfed Tyrantrum, which is pretty nice, because Tyrantrum, I have switch-ins to it on my team, but I did not bring really any of them besides maybe Swampert. Otherwise, my team doesn't switch into it. Max Defense Clefable does not switch into a Scarfed or Banded Head Smash at all, so yeah, it's definitely a mod I want to be able to offensively check at least, and that's also another thing Infernape's really good at with the Vacuum Wave, so yeah, that was the idea there. No grass coverage for a Quagsire. I just felt like that's obviously too obvious in most scenarios, and I really wanted Leech Seed, and just so I could be able to hit the Registeel in some kind of way and chip it down a little bit. Because if he's max specially defensive, a +2 nasty, or after I get a nasty put up with Infernape, a +2 Fire Blast has a chance to not kill. So I need to be able to get a little bit of damage off on that thing beforehand, and I figured Leech Seed was a way to help maybe chip against it a little bit, as well as like knock off Clefable and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of nice there. And then, like I said already, the Expert Belt boosted Hidden Power Ice has a chance to, or it has a 100% chance to knock out the Tyrantrum after a spike, with the HP investment I expect him to have if he's an offensive variant, which is really, really nice for me. Next mon I have right here is my Swampert with the Rindoberry. We're rocking Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Toxic, and Sludge Wave on this set. Very interesting EV spread once again. Yeah, for sure. This is definitely, you can see the Rindoberry Sludge Wave. You could probably guess already if you're looking at his team. It is kind of a lure for the Whimsicott, which doesn't seem ideal considering I have things like Rosary, which can potentially pivot into Whimsicott. But if he's like a Life Orb variant with Psychic, that can definitely be a problem for Rosary just to be pivoting into it. So if I can find a decent lure on my team for the Whimsicott, I will definitely do that. And I figured Swampert was a pretty good one right here. The 60 investment in special attack allows me to knock out max HP Whimsicott with my Sludge Wave, if that's a potential thing he has. That's definitely a possibility. The only way he's knocking me out through my Rindoberry is if he's modest spec, so I do not expect that at all, and he would not click a grass move when I have a Rosary in the back anyway, so yeah, that's really nice there. The defense investment overall, I believe, allows me to take two... what is it? Crap. Yeah, we definitely can't... I think it allows me to take 2 returns from Megalopony, which is pretty nice. Obviously it has high jump kick, which you could, you know, click return into high jump kick, but that is definitely a possibility, to be completely honest. So it's not exactly the greatest defensive investment, but it is there for that reason at least. And the special defense investment, I believe, allows me to take... what is a special defenseman? I think it allows me to take like 2 Dark Pulses from a Scarf Zorg or something like that. And just something I really expect to come to this game, so... or something like that. And the Rindoberry also allows me to scout for like HP Grass Zapdos, which I don't really expect to see to come. I kind of expect to see like 3 attacks Roost Zapdos or something, or even like 2 attacks Toxic Roost, or even like Defog on there somewhere. And like HP Ice for like my Gliscor and stuff in the back, and then like Toxic and stuff from where's that my Swampert anyways. So that's something I could kind of expect to come, to be completely honest. But yeah, Swampert's pretty good here. Ground coverage plus like Toxic is just really good against this team. It's something I was really looking forward to using. So yeah, that's a Swampert. Also, it's probably one of my better switch-ins to Registeel. Like straight up switch-ins, to be honest. Outside of like, yeah, pretty much Swampert. Just gotta be careful with him toxicing me and stuff like that, which definitely will happen throughout the game, but it is what it is. And yeah, getting into my next mon. This mon was really debated for a while. Yeah, this mon and Megaladios were 2 mons I went back and forth on for a while, but actually, like 30 minutes before battle actually happened, I actually just changed it to Bisharp. I had this set in mind for a while, but we have Scarf Bisharp here. Decided not to bring Megaladios because he has a Registeel, which completely just shuts Megaladios down, which is pretty crazy outside of like Dragon Dance Earthquake. And if I brought that set, then he has things like Static Zapdos, which can be a problem. Scarf Tyrantrum still a problem if I don't get a +1 up. Encore Whimsicott, Stun Spore Whimsicott, things like that are just really annoying for it. Even Fake Out Pressure from Megalopony is going to, you know, weaken that over time, and it's not exactly the greatest set versus him. And it really suffers from a 4 move slot syndrome in that scenario, as well as Unaware Defensive Quagsire can check that set. So yeah, it's not a bring here. So Registeel completely kind of just takes Megaladios out of this game, unfortunately. So that's why I decided to go with the Bisharp. Scarf Bisharp here. We are running enough speed on this set to outspeed a Adamant Megalopony creeping my Megaladios, which is definitely, it's not the most reliable Scarfer for Megalopony. I completely understand that. But it is something I'm definitely going to bank off of here, because I don't really have any other potential Scarfers I could bring this game, to be completely honest. Scarf Gliscor was something I was debating on this game, but ultimately it was just not the greatest with some of the mons he had on his team. So the Scarf Bisharp is here, helps me maybe catch things like Whimsicott off guard, a non-Scarf Tyrantrum. Things like Megalopony, if it is creeping the Megaladios, will be pretty crucial. Something like Brick Break does do more damage than Iron Head, so that's why I have it here. Really only need knock off an Iron Head, but Brick Break is there for, you know, potential more damage on things like Megalopony, a little bit more damage on things like Registeel, which is pretty good. And Toxic also there helps me catch things like Static Zapdos, which might want to be a switch in, as well as things like Quagsire and whatnot. So I think that's pretty solid overall. And then just rocking Max Attack Adamant, which I was able to do. So yeah, that's Bisharp there. Pretty self-explanatory this game. It's not amazing or anything. Also gives me another way to help check like Necrozma, I guess, which is pretty cool. But yeah, not exactly the greatest here, but it is something I felt I was inclined to bring. Kind of like, I was feeling pretty comfortable with 5 of my mons. My next mon I'm even pretty comfortable with. It's just this mon was kind of on here because I needed a 6th mon. So yeah, But anyways, coming to my last model, we have my Snorlax right here, which is a Figgyberry variant with Return, Earthquake, Curse, and Recycle. Mainly specially defensive right here. It is my Nidoqueen check. I definitely wanted to have a reliable one, and Snorlax luckily is a very reliable Nidoqueen set, which I do expect him to bring the special variant of Nidoqueen, just because it has very good coverage through my team and whatnot. Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, Flamethrower is really good against most of my team, as it just allows them to break through stuff. Modest Life Orb, Sheer Force just makes a lot of sense, or even Timid, either way works very well. But Snorlax can switch into those sets very nicely and proceed to recycle up the berries and even set up Curses late game, which is another potential win con on my team. He does have the Mega Lopunny, so it's not exactly the greatest one. So yeah, that's an option for me for sure. Did debate something like Choppleberry counter for a while for Mega Lopunny, but like Return's doing a crop ton after +1 anyways, and we can live an attack after +1 if we're at full, so that's nice at least. It also helps me against Curse Registeel, because like I said, Registeel is already a pretty big problem for my team to begin with. So if he realizes like Curse Registeel is actually a pretty big problem, I can set up alongside of that with my Snorlax, and I should be able to win that 1v1 exchange. Yeah, I should be able to win that 1v1 exchange unless he has Toxic or I am Toxic beforehand. So that's something to keep in mind. Also got to watch out for Encore Whimsicott, or like Encore Whimsicott or something like that. Could definitely be annoying for sure, as well as Unaware Quagsire for sure. So I definitely would want to Toxic that with something like my Swampert beforehand would be very, very awesome for sure. But yeah, that is basically the team. I'll go ahead and just back out right here real quick. Feel pretty decent with this one. Couple things, like I said, Mega Lopunny is definitely a big threat because I don't offensively check it the greatest. Like I said, my Bisharp is creeping a Mega Lopunny, creeping my Mega Latios. So if he does not decide to go that creep and he goes like max speed or something, or just he creeps my Scarf Bisharp creeping his Mega Lopunny, then that would just be a pretty big problem, and Mega Lopunny could get out of hand pretty quick if I don't watch it. So yeah, that is definitely a big threat here, and I need to try to figure out a way I can break through his fat. So yeah, that is the builder, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get into the battle, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back with the battle, and as you guys can see, Ice decided to bring the Mega Lopunny, Zapdos, Quagsire, Nidoqueen, Registeel, and Vikavolt. Very similar team to what I was expecting, except the Vikavolt was something I didn't talk about too much in the builder, which did decide to come to this game, and which definitely can be a pretty big threat if I let my Snorlax get weakened too much. So that is something I want to watch out for sure, as even a Life Orb boosted Energy Ball can do about 80% to my Rindoberry Swampert, so that's not exactly the best way to check that thing. So yeah, that's something I want to watch out for sure. That's agility. After an agility, it can outspeed my entire team, even my Scarf Bisharp, so that's definitely scary. But yeah, a couple of, like, mainly everything I expected here. I definitely expected Mega Lopunny, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, and Registeel, and I thought there was a good chance Quagsire would come, and like I said, Vikavolt was a pretty big surprise to me, but I can definitely see why he brought it. But yeah, getting into this matchup, I was looking at it overall. I figured Swampert was pretty good right here. I could potentially Toxic something, or just get up my rocks right away and try to pressure his team. Also, something I forgot to mention in the builder, which I will mention right now, is my Roserade is running enough speed, yeah, I ran enough speed for that Tyrantrum, but it also has enough speed for a no-speed Zapdos, which is very good, so I can pressure that with the Hidden Power Ice, so it's not exactly in a freeze position to click Defog against my team, so I am able to potentially just throw out spikes against it, which is very good. And then with my Swampert, if he ever wants to try to defog in front of me, I can throw up a Toxic on that thing and put it on a timer, which is very good overall. But yeah, we'll go ahead and jump into the team. Like I said, I decided to lead with my Swampert, as he is going to lead right with his Zapdos, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to just throw up a Toxic, as he does the exact same thing to me. Definitely a fair play right off the bat. His only immunities right there were Nidoqueen and Registeel, not really two very good switch-ins, so I figured that was a pretty free Toxic, as he does the same. And I'm in a position where I'm just going to throw up my Stealth Rocks right here. He throws up a Hidden Power, which is fine. And yeah, this is definitely an interesting scenario. Right here, my first initial thought was, okay, I can go into Bisharp on his Defog, but no, that would be a very, very risky play in case he's running something like the Discharge, or even if he does Defog, then that doesn't really help me at all, because I would definitely say this is Unaware Quagsire, so even after getting a +2 boost from the Defiant, he could just easily go into Quagsire and take that on, and he'd be able to get rid of Rock. So not exactly my greatest play there. What I'm actually going to go for is a switch into my Roserade at this point, so I can pressure him with the Hidden Power Ices and not allow him to Defog for free. So that is my play right here. I'm going to go into my Roserade, and he is going to elect to Discharge me. Luckily, it does not paralyze me, which is very good right here. And rocks are up, and he is still on a timer, so This is very good for me. I definitely could have clicked Hidden Power Ice right here, or even Spikes, but I think I like to click Leech Seed, kind of scouting out to see if he had the Heat Wave on deck, because it would allow me to live the next Heat Wave. As he does go into Nidoqueen right here, which is fine with me. We are able to get a little bit of health back. And right here, not wanting to take any kind of hit, like an Ice Beam or whatnot, I am just going to pivot out, I believe, into my Snorlax. Yeah, I go right into Snorlax on his Stealth Rock, so we both have Rocks up at this point, which is definitely fine for me. I feel like for me, having Rocks up, it's a little bit more crucial to help me put Infernape in a position to win later games. So I'm definitely okay with the Rocks up at this point. So yeah, I'm just going to throw off a Body Slam right here. I figured his initial switching would either be Quagsire or maybe even Registeel, probably Quagsire, but kind of want to gauge the damage. You can definitely see after that damage he is close to max defense, if not max defense, I believe, which is definitely something that makes sense. And right here, I am just going to pivot out into my Clefable, as it gives me an opportunity to get up, throw off a knockoff against something, as it will be able to knock off anything's item outside of Megalopony, and that does not want to switch into Clefable. And he just throws off a Scald, which is fine for me. So like I said, I'm just going to throw off a knockoff right here, and I'm able to get rid of this thing's leftovers, which is very good over time for sure. And he's just going to continue to throw off Scald, so I believe I wish this turn on his Recover. And I believe I'm just going to stay in and click Knockoff or Moonblast right here. I'm just going to double Knockoff, trying to catch the Registeel if it wants to come in. But he is persisting on clicking Scald at this point. But with me having the Wish plus Soft Boil, it puts me in a position where I can definitely outstall this thing if he really wants to go that route. And that is definitely something I'm okay with, considering I have my leftovers and he does not still. So this is definitely a 1v1 exchange I'm okay with. And honestly, my play should have been always spamming Wish plus Knockoff, but I believe I started clicking Moonblast right here. I click Wish. Now I click Wish on this turn, and then I am going to pivot out into my Lax, I believe. No, I go into Swampert this time. Yeah, I want to get my Swampert back up to full, and I figured against a Nidoqueen, he really doesn't have a coverage move that can just blow back my Swampert. Even if he has some kind of grass coverage or anything, I don't think it gets anything besides Hidden Power and Grass. But I can live that with my Rindo Berry attack, and I will get back up to full. As he's going to make the play into Megalopony, trying to catch my Snorlax, which is definitely a pretty solid play. But I am going to get Swampert in here. And I'm just going to click Earthquake because, let me go back one more turn. I was going to click Earthquake on this Megalopony because it put me in a position, even if he stayed in and attacked me, I can live any hit. I don't live 2 high jump kicks at all whatsoever, but it puts me in a position after an Earthquake that Vacuum Wave from my Infernape can kill after one more round of Rocks. And that's very important for me, in my opinion. I'm not forced to get up an Acid Ball at that point, and it gets rid of his biggest offensive threat against me, which is definitely something I was okay with. Even if he goes into Zapdos right here, I'm okay with clicking Earthquake, as that is exactly what he's going to do. And he's on a timer, so like I'm okay with this. My Swampert can catch Wishes later in the game potentially, so I'm definitely okay with the Zapdos getting weakened. And he is going to throw off the Hidden Power right here. I believe Hidden Power Ice still. Yeah, I thought he'd maybe Roost right there, but he threw up the Hidden Power Ice, which is fine with me. Right here, expecting his Roost, I am just going to throw off another Knockoff, as I can get rid of this thing's leftovers at this point, or even catch something else that might want to switch in. So yeah, we get rid of the leftovers right there. We get a crit, which I don't think is too crucial in the long run, so that is definitely fine. And I believe right here I just start throwing off Moonblast so I can pressure that thing from potentially defogging and whatnot. But at this point, we did see Zapdos' full moveset is the Toxic, Discharge, Hidden Power Ice, and Roost. So no defog, and if you look at the rest of his team, he has no kind of removal. So this is very good, meaning that Rocks are here to stay on both sides, which is fine with me, because I have no removal this week either. But yeah, he goes right into Nidoqueen right here. We are weakening this thing down, which is good over time. I will definitely take it. It's put it in Scarf Bisharp range. I will definitely be okay with that. And I'm just going to pivot out into my Snorlax once again, as we are a very nice switch into Nidoqueen, and we can just fire off a... Oh, yeah. These sequences of plays are kind of interesting right here, as right here I'm going to make a couple aggressive plays. I still have my Figgy Berry intact on Snorlax, so I'm okay with pivoting in and out on Rocks a little bit. So right here I am going to make a play on his Quagsire switch in and go into my Swampert to try to pressure him out with a Toxic, which is definitely something I wanted to do right here. So yeah, I go into Swampert right here. He should definitely think that Toxic coming his way, and he should not want to stand on a Toxic whatsoever. I'm expecting the Zapdos to probably want to come in and try to throw up a Roost. So my play right here is to actually make a double into my Roserade. It makes sense because it covers him staying in right here for some reason, which I don't think he would make that play, and it covers his double into Zapdos on my potential next Earthquake or something. So I'm going to make the play into my Roserade, and what this does for me is allows me to keep my Roserade in against Zapdos and not let him Roost up and put him in a very awkward position, which is very good. At this point, his switch in would be something like a Registeel, which he doesn't know my full moveset yet. I could have like Technician, Life Orb, Hidden Power Fire, so that's definitely not a great switch in at this point. And with Zapdos this low, it only switches in one more time on Rocks, and it's very hard to recover against my team. So he's going to sack it to the Sludge Bomb right there, which is fine with me. So we were able to catch that thing. He brings in the Megalopony right here, which is a free switch into my Clefable at this point since I still am at full. He's going to go for the return. That should be an adamant return, as you can see. 42%, I believe, is an adamant return. So that gives me a little bit more intel to where my Bisharp might be able to, that he might have went with the speed creep that lets my Bisharp outspeed with my Scarf and whatnot. So that could be very nice to keep in mind. He brings in the Nidoqueen right here on my Softball, I believe. Yeah, I reveal a Softball here because Softball is my way of checking the Megalopony, as well as Wish Passing is just a way to support my team. And I just go into my Snorlax once again and pop my Figgy Berry, as I believe I go for the Recycle this turn on his switch into the Registeel. Now, this turn is pretty interesting. It may look like a misplay on my play a little bit, but in the team builder, I did mention a Curse Registeel could be a pretty big threat to my team, as it does not have enough damage on it yet for Infernape to knock it out. So this is a position where I actually am going to click Curse with my Snorlax. I figured a Toxic definitely could come out, or even a Thunder Wave if you predicted me to go hard Infernape right here. But I was definitely willing to go for the Curse right here to put myself in a position where I don't just lose to Curse Registeel, which is definitely not something I wanted to let happen, because if he gets enough curses, my Swampert cannot no longer check it. My Infernape, like I said, it needs damage on it, and my best way to check at that point would be countering him with my Curse Snorlax. So he is going to go for the Toxic, so I don't get that play right as I go for the Curse right here, which is definitely unfortunate. But at this point, I see Toxic. I do not assume Toxic Curse at this point, so I believe... Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I keep skipping back, but I am going to go for the Curse right here. And after revealing the Curse and him not want to take an Earthquake right here, I am going to predict his Quagsire to come out. And this is going to look like a really weird double, right? But Infernape also handles him staying in right here on potentially even just throwing off a Seismic Toss or whatnot, or making the switch into Quagsire, which is definitely the unaware set. So going to Infernape right here definitely catches that, because I do have the Grass Knot on my Infernape. And this is going to look like a really weird double for him, for sure. Me going in Infernape, or he might have just thought I was going hard Infernape to try to catch the Registeel, but this puts him in a very awkward position. He does not have a good switch in at this point to Infernape at all. I don't think he's in a position where he can risk his Megalopony, considering it's looking like his main win con at this point. Either that or still like a Rest Registeel or something like that, in my opinion, or even the Vikavolt in the back. So I don't think he's in a position to risk his Megalopony or Vikavolt at this point. So I think he's just going to stay in and click the Water move right here against my Infernape. So we can just throw off the Grass Knot, and we are able to knock him out right there. We knew he wasn't Rindoberry from the leftovers earlier, and we were in a position just to be able to knock that out. So really good there, and we are going to just switch out once again as his Megalopony comes in. He predicts me to go into my Clefable, which is a nice play, and goes into his Nidoqueen, but he is taking rocks and putting himself closer in range of Vacuum Wave for my Infernape, which is very good, potentially making me not want to risk a Fire Blast or whatnot. He's making a lot of nice doubles here. He makes a double again once into Megalopony on my Snorlax, as I am going to get my Figgy Berry to pop after the Rocks plus Toxic, which is great. And right here, there's no reason to risk my Snorlax, as he still has a Vikavolt in the back, which I do not know what kind of set that is. And the Nidoqueen is still around, so it's definitely something. Snorlax is definitely something I want to keep around, as he throws out the High Jump Kick right here and misses. Definitely a very unfortunate miss. I don't think it matters too much in the long run, as Megalopony was just getting chipped closer and closer in range of Vacuum Wave, and my Clefable, if I kept it at full, was a switch into this thing 100%, as long as he wasn't like power up punching, got crits and whatnot. So yeah, definitely unfortunate still, because I want to see how it played out without that, but I think that just shortened the process, to be completely honest with you. As at this point, I believe I throw off a Moonblast since I'm at full. Probably should have thrown off a Knockoff right here. I actually do throw off a Knockoff right here. Yeah, to catch the Registeel and I knock off that thing's leftovers, which is very good. And he is going to make the switch into Nidoqueen on my Wish right here. So I'm going to pivot out into my Snorlax right here to catch the Wish as he throws off a Sludge Wave. And I get back up to full. Definitely should have recycled right here. I go for Curse, trying to maybe snag a kill with Snorlax at this point, because it looks like it can put in some work right here. But I do not have my Figgy Berry back, which is kind of a misplay on my part, considering he still has a Vikavolt in the back. And if that thing gets up in Agility, I don't have my Snorlax to check as well. So my Snorlax is definitely in a vulnerable position here, with no Berry attack, and it is on a timer. So he's just going to start weakening me with the Seismic Tosses, which is fine. I throw off a +1 Earthquake, which does not very much to this Registeel. And at this point right here, I believe I end up pivoting out. Yeah, I think I switch out right here. He goes on a Vikavolt as I make the play into... Yeah, I go into Clefable, trying to pass another Wish into my Snorlax, so I can be able to put myself in a position where I can recycle again. But he makes a double into his Vikavolt on my Snorlax, I guess trying to catch me on an Earthquake because it has Levitate, and then maybe trying to put in some work with it there. As we make the double into Clefable, and this is definitely probably the scariest thing left to deal with, is Vikavolt. He definitely could be agility. You can see he goes for agility right here. I will go ahead and just skip this turn real quick. As we go right for that Moonblast. As you can see, Moonblast is a 2-hit KO on this thing, but that does not mean we're safe yet. This Vigavolt outspeeds my entire team at this moment. My only priority is Vacuum Wave and Infernape, which he is not in range of. If he has the Z move right here, this is one of his Z users, he can knock out my Clefable with the right investment, and my Snorlax is not in a position after rocks to take a Bug Buzz from a potential Vigavolt set. Which is definitely scary, because if this thing breaks through my Clefable and Snorlax, then that pretty much will beat game, and he will reverse sweep me with his Vigavolt, essentially. Well, not really reverse sweep, but like kind of just sweep me up with the Vigavolt, which is definitely something I don't want to allow to happen. If he has Life Orb, I can put him in range of Vacuum Wave and Infernape at least, or, well, he could have Roost too, which is something I'm going to watch out for. It just depends on his coverage at this point. But I am going to scout for the Z move right here and actually sack my Snorlax, which I figured was fine at this point, considering if I can come back in like a Clefable and revenge this thing, I will be okay. And Nidoqueen is at a position where I feel like I can beat that thing. So I am just going to go ahead and sack my Snorlax right here to the potential Z move. As you can see, he does fire off the Electrium Z. So we make the right play right there and keep our Clefable around. As I am going to go right back into Clefable and just click Moonblast. So he throws out the Thunderbolt. You can see that does 51%. So a Z Thunderbolt would have knocked me out, which would have been a problem. And he is going to bring in the Nidoqueen right here. I really had no reason to switch out. I felt like sacking Clefable right here was my best play. It helped me beat the Mega Lopunny, but Mega Lopunny after that HJK miss is in range of Vacuum Wave from Infernape, so I can beat that way. As well as Infernape beats the Registeel with Fire Blast / Fire EMZ at this point, and Infernape can actually beat the Nidoqueen. So he is going to go for Sludge Wave right here. There's really no reason for me to do anything here. Like, he could have over predicted, so I just click Knockoff right there and like predict my Swampert or something to come in. But there was really no reason for me to switch out and risk it, like losing another point of differential that way. I figured this way would just be a little bit safer, so that's what we just had to go with. And right here, I actually make the play into my Swampert instead of Infernape right here. Infernape had the potential to definitely just clean up this game right here. Let's say I click Fire Blast, regular Fire Blast on the Nidoqueen. I actually didn't even look to see if Grass Knot killed. If Grass Knot killed this, then I definitely just threw a point of differential away for sure. Yeah, Grass Knot probably just killed this, to be honest. Because Infernape could have cleaned with Grass Knot, Z Fire Blast on the Registeel, and Vacuum Wave on the Mega Lopunny. But right here I ended up going to the Swampert because I didn't want to risk the Fire Blast with Infernape. Which, now looking back at it, Grass Knot definitely killed this thing. I don't know why I made that play, but you're going to see right here I go for the Earthquake, and I'm going to be able to easily live this Ice Beam. But it does put him in a position where he can revenge with the Mega Lopunny. And then, yeah. He can revenge with the Mega Lopunny, but then Infernape sweeps 100% after this, so I can just come in with Infernape, click the Vacuum Wave on this Mega Lopunny, and then proceed to Z Fire Blast the Registeel, not risking a miss or anything. So yeah, that was a good game to ice. It was definitely a very fun game in my opinion. I know he was definitely a lot busy with school and stuff, so that's definitely unfortunate for sure. But I still feel like it was a good game nonetheless. Yeah. One thing I was really excited with this game was Clefable. I feel like it put in a ton of work with the knockoff throughout this game, knocking off things like the Zapdos, Quagsire, and even Registeel this game. So really put in a lot of work right there and helped weaken his fat stuff for Infernape, which I said would be pretty important in the builder. So I was excited with that, as well as Infernape, as well as just passed some nice wishes too. So I was really excited with what Clefable did this game, as well as Infernape picked up 3 kills this week. So very happy there. Scarf Bisharp never had to hit the field, so. If I didn't make this video, wouldn't have to reveal that, but you know, I don't really care. Scarf Bisharp came 2 weeks in a row, so it is what it is. But yeah, that is basically the battle, guys. We are now 2-1 plus 3, so we are on a nice streak now, and let's keep it going. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if new. Really would appreciate it, guys, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.